mobility and independence. It's about mobility and independence in our among our older adults. So that's the topic of today. So please let's be attentive. If you have questions, leave it in the chat box, and please let's mute our mics. No distraction while we learn today from Mrs. Elizabeth Adejuma. You have the floor, ma. Thank you so much, ma.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful and honored to be here. It's such a privilege. Just as introduced, my name is Elizabeth Adejimo. Some people call me Ayo. And looking after older people is some of the things I'm passionate about as well, because it's kind of part of my life. If you're doing something for 20 years, you're already into it. And there's no better place to share this than with this age well community. Uh, so just as and then just to say a warm welcome to everybody that's on the platform and those that will be joining us. Just a quick icebreaker. I have a question for everyone, and just type it if you have access to type there. So what is the most important muscle in your body? What is the most important muscle in your body? Just type it there. What's the most important muscle in your body? Just type it there. Or in our body. No. We're learning, so there's no wrong or right answer. So we come at something. Yes. Okay. Yeah, there are two answers there. Okay, three answers. Yes. Okay. Great. I believe we are not doing copy and pasting, so everybody's right. Thank you so much. Yeah, so it's not a classroom, so I would have been asking, how did you come about that? But we all know that the heart is the most important muscle in our body. It's a kind of an involuntary organ. You don't see it. Nature made things so beautiful that those things are very, very important. They are kind of in the cavity, like your brain is in the, is kind of secure in the skull. Our heart is kind of guided with the lungs and every other thing, our rib cage, things like that. Just telling us how significant these organs are. So works autonomically, as in unassisted, on his own, on the normal ground. So, but like as important as the heart is, it need other vessels, it need other organs to keep it active. And I don't know if you've come across this saying that your legs are your second heart. The leg muscles is the second heart. So your first heart is here, but the second one is down below. And what does this mean? This makes us to know that though the heart is there doing all the pumping, doing all the involuntary things, there's this other second heart that we need to move, which is our legs. So if you don't move them, we will be causing some cardiovascular issues, as we will see as we go on. So I'm just kind of forming a background with this, because what the calf muscle does is, as we move it, it helps our body to work against gravity that has pushed blood down, so that it gets those deoxygenated blood, the blood that doesn't have oxygen again, to go through our femoral arteries, to go up and get up back into our heart to get oxygen again and to keep the circulation going. So when this is not happening, many other things can fall apart, as we see as the time goes on. So as simple as the heart is, and as best as it is as the most important organ, also the second heart, which is our leg, needs to keep moving. And that moving is at our will, which is different from the heart that is pumping, not at our will, as operating on its own. So having formed this background, I'll just kind of introduce the topic again to us, which is right in front of me. Moving forward, mobility and independence promotion in older adults. So when we're talking of older adults here, we're talking about people aged 60, 65 and above. Apparently, some of us on this platform tonight may not be in that age bracket yet, or maybe, but we have relatives, family members that are in this age bracket. Naturally speaking, as we grow older, there's the reduced risk of our muscle strength. There's the reduced, mobility, increased risk of falls, frailty, name it, everything that makes walking more difficult for an older person. But there's still a level of movement that must be kept in place so that everything else doesn't fall apart. And just also as part of our background, I would like to let us know, just or to remind some of us, that the world we are in is aging and we are having more aging population. How do I mean? Globally, there's an increase in aging population. And there are, among many factors that are responsible for this, number one, I'll just mention two briefly because of our time, is that people are more aware about their health, just like what we're doing here tonight. So people are taking more responsibilities for their health, and because of that, they're living longer. Also, the birth rate has declined. So number of births per woman has declined compared to what it was in the past. For example, I take myself for example now. I came from a family of 8, but none of my siblings ever had 8 children. So maybe some 1, 2, 3, everybody. And, you can attest to that as well. So people are not kind of giving birth to, when you compare the whole proportion, as into many children as what it used to be. Now, from the Central Statistics in Ireland, it's been shown that the aging population by 2050 will double. At the moment, it's around 20 something percent. So it will double in the next 30 years. And in the next 37 years, 25 years, that's 2050. By 2057, it's expected to triple. So if you're saying this of Ireland, what about in African countries? Yes, we may not have all the statistics as correct as it should be, but many facts are confirming that the aging population is increasing. So if you're going to be here for longer, then there's need to be here with a good head. There's need to be here to be active. There's need to be here to avoid complications that could come up from inactivity, impaired movements, immobility, and things like that may end up kind of shortening some people's life or reducing the quality of life and making old age a miserable experience. We shouldn't be. We shouldn't be. All right. So having kind of have that understanding, what makes people kind of become impaired with their mobility? It could happen along, like not just older people alone. It can happen to anybody for different reasons. But like for the context of this meeting together tonight, we're looking at it under the angle and the perspective of older adults. So why would people be why would older people be not able to move as they should be? Studies have shown that once you start reaching the third decade, that's the sixth decade, or age 60 and above, even some it starts earlier, our muscles and everything, things start slowing down. It's natural process. So they start slowing down because of aging. Also, there's increase in frailty. Also, there's some people can just have that resilience. What do we mean by resilience? Resilience is the ability to kind of bounce back, when things happen. Like, for example, if you were sick, maybe you had a chest infection or whatever, and you're kind of down, and your body immunity starts to kind of pull things together, and then you start to manage with hydration, with good food and things like that. You start getting on your feet again. But as people grow older, if the resilience is very low, ability to bounce back become very difficult when they don't get enough support that they need, as we see as we continue this evening. So what other things that can cause impaired mobility or reduced mobility in the older adults? Like I said, mobility is not just about your leg, all right? It's as in just our lower limbs. It involves all the joints, the ligaments, the muscles, the surrounding organs just all around her legs. So, and when any of these organs or tissues, let me put it that way, when they are dysfunctional or when something is wrong with them, it makes moving a challenge. And that's one of the things we see in older people. So just going quickly over some of them, like issues with osteoarthritis. Arthritis, some people just call it arthritis generally. This is a degenerative joint condition, and it comes with pain, it comes with swelling. For some, it's stiffness. Most of the time, it will affect the knees, both knees, it will affect both hips, it can affect the joints, as in the spine or the hands. And when it affects the lower limb, it slows down people moving. So some will say there's no cause, there's no cure, but it can be managed. So if an individual doesn't know they're going through this, and they just say, grandma has become lazy, grandpa is not moving again, has it been assessed? Have you been able to get his baseline mobility and see okay, now this is what it used to be. Okay, what has happened or what is happening at the moment? Is this just normal aging or is it just arthritis or something that is going on? So, because it can be managed so that they can have good quality of life. My friend, dad of blessed memory now, visited her sometimes back in Ireland, and she was bringing the dad on shopping as he would, like he normally visit previously. And she, at the pace at which she was walking, the dad couldn't catch up with that pace anymore. And she was kind of like, what's going on? But suddenly she came to herself and said, you know what? He's not getting younger. But apart from not getting younger, has there been time to look at why is this just this slowing down apart from the aging? So are there things that can be managed? Because if it's pain that is there that is slowing down with the arthritic changes in the joint, sometimes treatment can make things better, but it has to be diagnosed. And some of our people in the, outside of Europe and other civil, let me not put it like that. Maybe in Africa, they may not have all these facilities or they may not be informed. So we need to kind of be conscious of this. Get them the legs x-ray, get, they can do a joint aspiration of the synovial fluid just to be sure that, okay, is this just osteoarthritis or is it a kind of inflammatory changes that is going on? So that they will know that maybe what kind of treatments, as we'll see later, that can be put in place. Also, we have things like osteoporosis. In osteoporosis, you may not have any symptoms, until the damage is done. What is osteoporosis? As people grow older, the density of the bone become kind of reduced, less bone volume, less bone density. So it's become more pliable to breaking easily. Let me put it that way. So, and when you don't have a symptoms, sometimes I've seen a patient coming from the history garden, I was just doing regular thing. I wasn't even carrying anything. I was just the spine, she became kyphotic. She became bent over. And that's when the terrible pain started. By the time they did the DEXA scan and everything, the bone has been getting softer and softer. really she's a woman of a small stature, low body mass index, which is another factor for that. So the bone has kind of, broken just pathologically, just on its own like that, just without any, force or any falling or anything. So what about if this lady had been checked? So that's why, like I said, for the osteoarthritis, for the osteoporosis, checking it up is kind of multifactorial, as in, is the person at risk? Who are the people at risk of osteoporosis? People that have low body mass index, like I said, small stature people, somebody that smokes or that had a smoking kind of history, excessive alcohol consumption, hypothyroid, people with chronic kidney disease, people with prolonged use of steroid, could be for different reasons why they're on steroid, or maybe there's somebody that has a family history that's in their family, they've had somebody with osteoporosis in the past. So this person is at kind of high risk. So somebody of that high risk, you won't wait until the regular age of DEXA scan being done. DEXA scan is what shows whether your bone is becoming brittle, is becoming osteoporotic, is losing density. So in a woman, it will be done as is recommended about age 65, you must have a DEXA scan. In a man, it's recommended at age 70, you must have a DEXA scan. But you don't have to wait for that if you have a risk factor. All right? Because by the time osteoporosis is realized sometimes, some people, the damage is already done. All right. So, and there are other ones like the rheumatoid arthritis, which is another one, which is a kind of a disease condition itself. Inflammatory changes. We have gout when the crystals of the uric acid build up on the joint and things like that, causing inflammation as well, causing swelling, causing pain, and they can't walk. And sometimes they form on the digits of the toes or the fingers. And if they are not having appropriate footwear and things like that. So which can make them prone to any other thing, including fall, that can impact on their life and the quality of life negatively. So all this and many more can be the reason why people are not working, that they are not moving the way other people are not moving the way they should. Like I've mentioned, frailty, pain, disease condition, including Parkinson's, or maybe they have a post-stroke. And sometimes, the big CVA, the cardiovascular accident, may be just like, visible, but some they've had a very subtle one, which we call the TIAs, that's the transient ischemic attack. So they just had it, they didn't know they had a mini stroke before. So they just saw that this left side of me, just feel a bit heavier than the other one, this left leg, this no. So, but if they don't get investigated, if they don't get, checked up, they won't know what actually is kind of slowing them down. So, and some people, it's just the fear of falling. Because they are just so afraid, they're afraid they are going to fall, and that's why they are not moving. So we need to make a kind of an assessment. Why are they not kind of inclined to move, apart from the general deconditioning in older people? So, like I said, I'll just narrow down a little bit on pain, because pain is a big factor, and when we talk about pain, good enough pain can be managed. All right? Because if you want somebody to keep active, to keep moving, all right, to promote their independence, that they are not depending on people carrying them around, moving them around, and things like that, when you look at the bigger picture, it may just be pain. So the pain needs to be assessed. What is causing it? What is aggravating it? What is making it better? And when you're talking about the treatment of it, it could just be they need a pharmacological intervention or a non-pharmacological intervention. What I simply means is, do they need medication? And sometimes they may not need medication. So if it has to do with medication, we always advise that you start slow and go slow, because older people body are also, every other parts are growing older. So the way they will take and some of them are already on so many medication, which we call polypharmacy. So you don't want to burden them unnecessarily. So you go slow, you go easy. And funny enough, like in my units, like I work in the community rehabilitation unit in Dublin West, and I'm working there now for almost 2 decades, and you see people like when they come around and we tell them that we're stopping this analgesia, we're stopping that one, is too strong for you, it's not good for your liver, especially the NSAID, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. They're coming with diphene, they're coming with some other things, and it's like, no, this is not good for you. You can't be on this for a long time. And we said, it's just going to be paracetamol. I said, paracetamol is a chalk. It won't do anything. But the good thing with paracetamol is that when you take it regularly, it does work. The impact of it on your system is very minimal, as in causing more damage. So to say it to our older people, like, back in Africa, we've seen people with, they take it like alabuku, they take it like different kind of formation. And, and some of these things are blood thinners. We had a very nasty experience in my family in court. And, that the lady went for operation, and one way or the other, I don't know what they did with the clotting factor, maybe it wasn't properly checked. The surgery was successful, but because she's been taking so much of all this other unprescribed medication, her blood clotting was all over the place. That, the complication of the clotting issue was what actually took her life. It's not the poor performance of the surgery, So, like, just start slow, encourage them to start slow. Take the paracetamol, got 1 gram TDS 4 times a day, 3 times a day will go a long way. And if they now possibly need something else, let them get it prescribed. In some of our communities in Africa, because we can get medication easily, we have done many damages, because you can buy them easily. We are all corporates, you can buy antibiotics, you can buy painkillers, you can buy, people have injured their liver, injured their kidney because of self-medication. This should not be encouraged in older people. Get them checked in the hospital, and then let there be a proper record of what they have been taking, what has been working, what has not been working. And sometimes when we talk of this NSAID, you can have them, even if they're not taking them orally, they can have them topically, rub it on the Diclajec, the Etoflame, or whatever composition that's amounts to in the, when you're talking about the generic or the trade name. So all those ones can help, the pain. And the worst that will happen is, especially maybe if it's osteoarthritis that is limiting them. That's why I say it's important to get our older people checked up. Sometimes if the knees are very bad, they might try things like maybe even just intra-articular injection, just to see if it will help the pain. And the worst comes to us, sometimes there's the need for replacement. And when you've seen people with good success rate of knee replacement, hip replacement, and they have their life back again, they will be able to move around. You're not worried about them, like, okay, are they going to fall at this and that? So all those avenues should be explored. So that's the coming to the pharmacological part of managing pain to promote mobility. On the other side, there are non-pharmacological interventions that you don't need medication for. So like the cold compress, the heat compress, they work. They do work. I've bought for people in here, like the one you can plug in, because the hot water bottle, I know it's good for hot compress, but the risk of it, if you have ever seen somebody scalded with hot water bottle, you will not recommend it at all. I've seen one, and that's the last thing you will. So there's the one they can plug into, just to help, There's also, stretching exercises, which I'm coming back to talk about the exercises. Stretching, distraction, massage, music therapy, aromatherapy, different kind of things that people can do to kind of help control pain, so that they can get the maximum benefit of moving around pain-free. So I haven't talked about the pain management there. Also, we can talk about their nutrition. Nutrition and mobility, they still tag around. Healthy eating, even at old age, healthy eating is what we should promote in older adults. Food rich in calcium, food rich in vitamin D. What's the essence of having calcium if you don't have a good level of vitamin D? Vitamin D is what helps the absorption of calcium into your bone. So it's just like taking iron and you don't have a vitamin C. Vitamin C is what helps the absorption of iron into your body. So, and these things, they can be found anywhere, just in simple food, like, living green food, that green food, like vegetables, spinach, kale, things like that, all around. In Africa, we have lots of different kind of green vegetables, which doesn't cost so much. Fortified diet, fatty foods, fish, mackerel, sardine, egg, they're all rich in vitamin D as well. And if worse comes to worse, you can give them the supplemented one. All right? Supplemented one. But I will advise on this platform that before starting them on supplemented vitamin D, get their vitamin D level checked. Because if things are okay on that side, you don't want to let them get too much calcium as well into their body that will kind of have a cardiovascular effect as well when it's too much. So get that checked. Some of us are in the habit. I used to be a corporate as well. Or we see multivitamin in the store, we pack it and send it to Africa. We send it. Do you know if they need that component of everything inside, or is it just a component or two that is needed? So let them get checked, so that let their bloods be done. Let regular blood tests be done. Even for those of us here, get a regular blood test and know what you're deficient at, so that you can know what you need. There are other vitamins as well that promotes healthy bone. Vitamin K is also in the leafy green vegetable. Magnesium, you find that in nuts, in grains. Your protein is also important for the muscles, for their muscles. The zinc is also in grains and nuts. Potassium, you find that in sweet potato, in banana, in prune. All this kind of add up to promote healthy bone, even in older adults and even in ourselves, so that we have stamina, we have a good bone health. And when we talk about some deficiency in the bone health of adults, there are different medications even to that effect. People can be on alendronate, they can be on denosumab, as in weekly medications to help their bone. Denosumab is, I think, that's the Prolia 6 monthly and things like that, that will help their bone. So also, all this can be promoted. Even back in Africa, like if you have somebody looking after your older person and all these things are not in place, you can suggest it to them. Once you're not saying it as somebody that is too low, it's just a team effort that makes things go well sometimes. So, and talking about managing and promoting mobility in older adults, if there's need to use assistive aid, encourage them to use it with dignity. When we're younger, we were being pushed around with what? With buggies, with prams, with everything. And nobody raised an eyebrow because they know you need it. But when older people goes around with walking aid, in this part of the world, maybe not so much stigma, but in Africa, they just feel like, what's wrong with that? Or they themselves will feel like, what will people be saying? See me walking around with a Sima frame or whatever, whatever. Let them use it with dignity. It's just the second pair of leg for their safety, And the only thing is that let them know how to use it properly. I know the occupational health deals with that in this part of the world. So that is also important when it's needed. Good sight, good vision, everything also contributes to mobility. And just on that note, when we talk of the physical exercises, which is very paramount in promoting the independence in our older adults, there are activities that can be done that will make their life easier. One thing is that let it be activities that they enjoy. All right? Let it be activities that they enjoy. So it could be aerobics activities like swimming, walking, stationary bicycling, treadmill. All these help to improve their cardiovascular system. So instead of just buying them clothes and things like that, you can invest in treadmill into the house. Make sure somebody train them how to use it. If the community, the landscape is not safe enough for them to be going on a walk. But if that is safe, it's good so that they can get the atmospheric oxygen into their lungs. So all those kind of aerobics activities help the cardiovascular fitness. If they can't do that, there's the strength and resistance training. This has shown that people benefit, especially people with osteoarthritis, because they are not doing what is too much and putting so much impact on what is already diseased, as in their joint. So it puts less pressure on their ligaments, on their tendons. So example of squatting, push-ups, using activity that they can load easily, that they can weigh, like the dumbbells, the kettlebells, so they can work with maybe 1 kg today, tomorrow they can go on to 3 kg, they can just build, just strength from or resistance training, just from that. So you can make that available for them. They can actually, like, even those that are techie oriented, or even for ourselves, when you can go out, maybe as the weather is coming to winter now and things like that, you could have all these things on the exercises on the YouTube and things like that, that they can do over 30 minutes. And you don't have to do 1 hour. They don't have to do 1 hour at a stretch. You can break it up. 1 hour can be 20 minutes, 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, night. Like in my unit, by the time a patient is discharged, because they're only on a short-term admission program, so let me say, maximum of 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. So the physiotherapy gives them a template of exercises they will be doing at home. So let's promote that. It could be something like we'll just get somebody to assess them and see what they need, so that those physio program can be drawn up to what is a kind of a personalized care plan for them, and they follow it routinely, as in maybe morning, afternoon, night, or twice a day. Could be every 15 minutes each. They just make sure that it's regular and they're doing it. And like I said, let it be something that they enjoy. It could just be dancing. If that keeps them moving, that is an exercise. If it's walking up down to the mall, the shopping center, or to the marketplaces, or to the religious center, churches or mosques or wherever, let them keep doing it. Just something to keep them moving, because we don't want to come into a situation that they have complication because they are not moving. And that leads me to this final part, which is some of the complications that can come around if older people, they are not moving, or even ourselves, we're not moving as we should. So impaired circulation. Circulation in the body, in the lower limbs, they're kind of impaired. This could be characterized with swelling, with pains. Some people come up with varicose veins. Worse that you don't want to happen is the deep vein thrombosis, DVT. And one of the danger of DVT is, DVT is just like a clot, deep vein thrombosis, clot forming inside your blood vessels, which is not good, because if that clot travels to the lung, it can cause PE, what we call pulmonary embolism, and that is very life-threatening, especially when it's not discovered on time. They will just say it's somebody they didn't give money yesterday that killed them. No, it's not the person they didn't give money to that killed them. Sometimes it's ignorance, sometimes it's immobility, sometimes it's no. And don't let's over pampered. Some of these our older people. I'll make myself vulnerable here. There was a time we're getting help for my mom, and at a stage she started refusing all the help. She will give complaint. This house help has to go. She can't stay with me. This one has to go. At a stage, she now hold up and say, you know what? Because they are taking my independence away. They are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Are you getting me? So sometimes give them that ability to do what they can do. So don't take everything off them, because you think they are pampering them, you are supporting them, but you are not supporting them. You are making, you're taking their independence away from them. So we don't want them to come up with all these complications from not moving, increased risk of all cardiovascular issues, even gastro problem, constipation, urinary problem, infections there and there, because they are not moving around. And also they can lose their bone muscles. They can lose the muscles. We call it muscles atrophy, muscle loss, when they are not actively doing what they should be doing. So we want our older people to live younger and to live longer. So we should promote a positive aging among them by encouraging them to remain independent in the terms of promoting their mobility. And also for ourselves, that we're not there yet, but we know that the way things are going, there's a projection that we could be here for longer. So it's high time we start building our bone health, so that when we get to that age, you don't engage in dirty habits. I'm not calling it dirty per se, but habits that are not going to help us, that can put us at risk, like smoking, drinking, misuse of medication, because you can buy them easily from Africa, things like that, overindulgence with things, not even getting your full rest, not taking adequate diet, and things like that. So I think I'm going to pause at this moment for the CEO. Should I call you Prof. Mrs. Flying Karemo
Oh
to
my
take over? And
Prof,
for the Q&A, thank you so much once again for having me. Thank you.
thank you so much. Thank you. I think we should just give a round of applause. I enjoyed every session. Don't mind me, I was doing up and down here, but I enjoyed everything because it was really relatable. The way you presented it, very relatable, simple, and kind of carrying everybody along, that it's not just focused on the other people themselves, even us as we are aging, because everyone is aging. Even if we are 20, we are 19, if we are 34, we are all aging. Each time you say happy birthday, you are aging, right? And so that was really, really very, very informative and precise. Thank you so much. Maybe if we have any question from our participants, if we have any questions. Okay. Please, can we know who is speaking? Maybe you use a raise hand button. Okay, who wants to go first?
I'd like to go first. I have a question.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Temi.
Thank you so much, Ma. I learned a lot of things. Like I just kept jotting down. So grateful for this wealth of knowledge when it comes to mobility and independency among older adults. So I have a question concerning use of supplements. So recently, my grandma, she had a fall. It was negligence on the part of her carer, and she had sustained like an internal injury to her bone in her legs. So what I want to ask, like at this point, because we're encouraging her to take supplements, but you just made me understand that sometimes you need to do a blood test to know the level of their vitamin D level, basically, before we literally should not pump them with supplement without knowing what they need. So I just want to ask that at this point, does she really need that blood test before going on with supplements? Because she's over 90 and we're literally trying to help her recover the best that she can. So I just want to know, do we need to do the blood test before she continues the supplements?
Yes. Thank you very much for that question. I would say yes. Um, Especially if she hasn't had that blood test done before. Because sometimes it may not be that she needs both. Like she may not need extra calcium. It may just be vitamin D she needs. She may not need vitamin D. It may be calcium that she needs. And sometimes when these multivitamins we buy, sometimes you will see some are 100%, some are 250%, some are 500%. So you don't know actually what she's deficient at. And come to think of it, if she has at 90, if she has some other cardiac issues that she doesn't need, that she's on other medication that has calcium or something like that in there, you don't want her body to absorb so much calcium again that could cause her some cardiovascular issues. So it's good to have a baseline of what their bloods are, and to let them have a repeat each time. And sometimes what you're even giving them may be lower than what she needed. All right. So, like on average, you see people taking Destiny 800 international unit, or what do you call it? What's the other out of it? 1,000 units. She may need more than that for a period of time. So instead of just doing how would I put it, a guess game. So let it get checked, and then you're on the right track looking after her, because she could be here for longer, like we're saying. You said she's 90, she could be here for longer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you, Ma.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and Tina, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the talk. Very, very, very informative. Really appreciate that. And thank you, Prof, for organizing this as well. My question is relating to the area where you were saying that for our aged parents, we should allow them to at least do some things. If you have an aged parent and you know she wants to do everything by herself, but her health could not actually allow her. For example, let's say already maybe she's suffering from osteoporosis, but she still want to, take things as if she's 20 or 30. How can you help in that area? What can you do? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thanks for coming, Sister Tina. Yeah, there's need for communication. All right. Sometimes we assume things for them. We think they should understand. But there's need for communication to make them see reason why this should be the limit of what they can do. Or maybe you give an alternative. All right. Like, sorry, I'm diverting a little bit. Like, maybe she's diabetic now. I say, you can't hit this, you can't hit that, you can't take this, you can't take that. That can't will look as if you're kind of forcing your way into their independence. But when you give alternatives, okay, you may not be able to eat this, but you can eat this. You may not be able to take this much, but you can have a short meal, So grandma or great grandma, you may not be able to go downstairs and carry this bowl of water. You can take them in this quantity and somebody else will help you with it. Just give them alternative and just hear their own side of it. So give option. But I will say that there's some that could be very strong will that they just want to still do things. Let them realize the risk that may be attached to it, that you could fall. This could happen to you. And if you fall and break your bone, make it look as if it's big, but that is actually what you want to prevent. And if you fall and break your bone, you could end up in the hospital and things may not, just let them see reasons, dangers that are attached to them going out of their way to do too much. So communication, I'll say, is very, very vital. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think we have Caroline. Yes,
Hi.
please.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for the lovely presentation you made. And I like the way you started and I like the way you finished. You started talking about the heart and you also finished talking about aspect of the heart that can go wrong, that like deep vein thrombosis. My question is, for us living abroad, majority of us that live abroad, our parents are getting older and there are ailments and things that arise that we can't have any control over, although we are working in the healthcare field. The question I want to ask is about dementia. That is it, how do you, or what are your suggestions in relation to supporting family members with dementia, even though we are living abroad? In my case, I had a mother who was diagnosed with dementia from in her 50s. She died in her 70s. My only way of supporting her was videos. I would sing for her on videos. I did travel home a few times to visit her, but when she died, I kind of had that feeling of regret of not there to support her the best way I possibly can, even though I'm in the care field abroad. So, what are any suggestions you could give us to support us in dealing with that mental torture and also dealing with other family members abroad who has dementia?
Excuse me. Sorry. Thank you for that question. I know this is totally outside of what we're dealing with today, and dementia on its own is very broad with so many tentacles attached to it. Like I did my my thesis was actually, my dissertation was actually on the rehabilitation of older people with mild cognitive impairments, which is a kind of precursor to dementia sometimes. In most cases, not all. So it's very, very broad. I think I'll create the indulgence of Prof. Mrs. Remo
Yeah.
to look into it another day. It could be me, it could be somebody else. I'll be very happy to come. But it's very, very broad. And I know what it means, the carer burden, the pain of not being there has been away. But like it's so much to it because at different stage of the dementia, they could have other things cropping up, that needed to be looked after at a bigger picture. So all you can do is just to make sure the care that they're getting is a standard care, not just at the grassroots. Let them go to people that are knowledgeable about it. It's becoming a global concern about dementia, and that's why we have to act quick so that they have them kind of properly assessed and draw up a care that they need, and then and also put a structure there that can relieve the carer burden so that they can get a quality care, because sometimes when the carer burden is there, the people looking after them, they may not get the best of the care that they need. And on your own part to feel easier, just make these video calls, do all you can from your hand, to look after, to support them. And come to think of it, which is so sad, sometimes they can't even recognize you. But in your mind, you know that you're doing your part, by making a video call to grandma, to whatever. So that will be for you. For them, they may not understand everything, but in their spirit man, let me put it that way, because I'm also a Christian. In their spirit man, they can connect to you. That is it. They can connect to you in their spirit man. In the physical world, you might look like a stranger to them, but in their subconscious, somewhere, there's a connectivity. So don't lose that link. Keep talking, keep things alive on your own end. And it's reassuring for you as well that you're there when you're not there. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's that answers it all. Like you rightly said, dementia is a huge topic on its own, and we do have it in our calendar to, talk about in our upcoming webinars. Just be on the lookout. Just to add to that, and this is where I'm going to. I don't think we have any other question. This is where I lead into, just take it up from here. Once again, thank you so much, our guest speaker, our professional experts, and my sister, my professional colleague as well, for handling this topic so gracefully. So I think we've identified gaps, right? You talk about all the care that have been rendered, mobility, independence, and some of the key things that Elizabeth mentioned, which I'm really grateful you mentioned that, it's this issue of supplements and self-medication, especially for older people. And I say this as well, like my mom is 73, she'll be 73 this year, 74 this year, something along the line. And the last time she came to visit, you know what happened? She brought in loads of medication. So she's hypertensive. So I know the medication she takes. She only amlodipine, that's it, and Vasoprene, paracetamol once in a while. But then I saw this big box of different medications. I was like, what is this? Which one is this? Don't touch it, oh, don't touch it, oh. I'm using this for this. I'm using this for this. Somebody gave me this. It was tug of war. Like maybe for 2 days, she didn't talk to me because I took everything and I went to empty them. And this is what happens in our culture. And I think this is one of the reasons why we are bringing this webinar. And I like the fact that we are simplifying things from research points of view, from practice point of view as well, and relating it to our culture, that we can actually do this. We can actually break all this, barrier. We can actually change all these kind of bad practices because one of our core aim in Age Well Care Link is that we want other people to have quality life. Now, research has shown, as Elizabeth has mentioned, that we are going to be staying longer. Like no matter how bad the economy is, even we have people who will live longer. So the life expectancy is on the increase. But what now happens if the life expectancy is on the increase, but the quality of life is reducing? So people will be suffering more in their old age when they are supposed to, live, well, not 100%, but at least have a quality life. So that's what we are promoting as Age-Well CareLink. Another note, once again, please let's give a round of applause to our guest, Elizabeth Adedran. Thank you so much for all your guests that attended as well. Moving on, I'm going to be sharing something very important, which I'm going to put the link. Kemi, do you have the link to the YouTube?
Yes, ma'am. Jennifer is putting everything up on the chat box.
Okay, so we actually did a video. We have a video. Even if I can play it, let me see if I can play it. It's just a few minutes talking about movements in case you want to see what kind of activity that your older person can engage in. Do we have that? Okay, I will. But I'm going to show us here. So we just put something together.
We age, staying healthy,
Where is it
independent, and
now?
connected shouldn't be complicated. But for many
Just
of
1
us,
second, I'm going to.
especially
And
those
this video was put together by our program assistant. You're going to see our lovely face. Okay, share sound. Just let me know if you can hear just a little demonstration, because we don't want this to be all talk at the same time.
Hello, my name is Kemi Retiola, and I'm a professional nurse with Age-Well CareLink. Today, I'm going to be speaking with you directly, yes, to our wonderful older adults. And I'm going to be talking about something very simple, but yet very important: daily movement. Staying active daily can be a great benefit to your body, your mind, and for your independence. As we grow older, our muscles naturally get weaker and our balance can reduce. But with daily movement, we can help reduce this. Daily exercises help to keep our joints flexible, strengthen our muscles, help us in our coordination and our balance. It can also help to boost our mood. Simple movements like walking around the house, stretching your arms, and even walking in a spot can make a big difference over time. It's not about doing too much. It's about doing little every day. Here are some gentle reminders. Move daily. Even if it's just 10 to 15 minutes walk around the house. You can use a chair or a wall for support if necessary. Wear non-slip slippers to avoid falls, which is very important. Make sure to declutter your environment to avoid falls also, and always make sure to stay hydrated. Listen to your body and do not push beyond your limits. Remember, being active doesn't necessarily mean intense exercises. It means being intentional with your body so it doesn't get weak or stiff. Movement is medicine. You don't have to do this on your own. Here at Age-Well, we are here to support your health journey step by step. Remember, every movement counts. So keep your body moving, your heart strong, and your spirit high. Thanks for watching and take care of yourself.
We can hear you. You're muted.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I forgot I muted myself during this. So thank you so much. That was a beautiful piece. You can see how simple, but yet very significant the movements are. And by the way, that video for the movement is AI generated. So just a disclaimer there. We can do a lot with AI. And that brings me to introducing Age-Well CareLink. I'm sure some of us, we've heard about it. You've seen it on my post, and you've seen it somewhere on the internet. But I think it'd be good for us to make a mention of what we do and who we are in Age-Well CareLink. So Age-Well CareLink is that your trusted integrated care hub for older adults. Remember, we're talking about you getting all the support that you need, or getting the support that your older person or your parents needs, all in one place. No need for fragmented services here and there. So the background kind of is saying that you see the way older people are growing, and we're talking about the increased aging population, and it's global. It's not just, Africa, it's everywhere. So then we thought, how can we transform aging, not just in Nigeria now, in Africa, and then globally? All we have to do is to make sure that care is connected, is simple, and is well coordinated. So these, from the life experience that I've had, even with managing my own mom back in Nigeria, everything is disjointed, it's fragmented, or sometimes not even available, the services that they need. So Age Reclaim is our platform that connects the seniors, their families, and, professional caregivers. We use AI-powered health assessment, so free care need assessment. You can see this is tying even into what the guest speaker has talked about, that they need to be assessed. So we've incorporated the comprehensive geriatric assessment tool into the app. So they'll be assessed, and then we'll be able to recommend care plans for them. Telehealth consultation, that means they can consult with healthcare providers anywhere in the world. We're also trying to bridge the gap with that shortages that is everywhere in Africa now. Almost every hospital is short of staff. So bridging that gap and making sure that other people still receive quality care, especially in the comfort of their home. So we are bridging this gap. We are offering older people everything they need. Just think of it as the Amazon, the way you go to Amazon and you can shop for anything. So you can shop for any service for your older people. In terms of mission, we aim to deliver accessible, personalized, and integrated care for our older people. We just want to ensure that the coordination is seamless. Even listening to the experiences of the likes of Caroline and Kemi there about the challenges that comes with managing, older people. And this is what we want to be able to provide solutions to. So it's digital. We're in digital age. So then why can't we just use the digital technology to our advantage anyways? So funded by myself, I don't need to talk too much, but like I said, I'm bringing up my experience in healthcare as a nurse, as a healthcare leader, having worked across different, sections of health, is in acute hospital, community, academia, research, management. So bringing all those experiences together, as well as my own personal experience with my mother, kind of fueled, the vision of Adriel CareLink and moving on. So we talk about all this background. So, but basically, we look at what works in other places, what is working in Ireland, and how can we bring this to Africa? And this is what we want to do. It doesn't mean that Ireland or any other part of Europe has it perfect, but then we can still, some good parts and bring it home, so to say. So how Adriel works is this. For service users, which could be either the older person themselves or their family or loved one, you sign up, create a profile, for yourself or for your older person. And once you sign up, you take the personalized AI assessment, like I've mentioned, and that would generate a care plan. So automatically you have a care plan for the care of your loved one. You can say, okay, maybe she needs a physio 3 times a month and things like that. So all these are already, we've trained the AI, and there's also an human interface as well, just for quality. And every client is allocated or is assigned a case manager to make sure that the care plan is actually suitable. And our case manager experienced nurses, so we still have that human touch. So you can select a package based on the care plan, and we have different care package that range from basic, standard, premium, depending on the need of the clients. So for instance, maybe basic could just be 2 home visits by a nurse, one teleconsultation by a doctor, depending on the need again. So it's really tailored to individual needs. We connect them with the providers, either virtually or in-home care, and they receive care. And as a family, you can track and manage the care of your loved ones. So like that issue of, I don't even know what to do, all this will be taken care of. You can actually see the care report and see, have a dashboard to yourself about feedback. Then for the healthcare providers, so this is a two-way, it's another opportunity for healthcare providers to come on board. And when I say healthcare providers, nurses, doctors, physio, dietitian, in fact, we've had I think 2 or 3 dietitian on board now, and they are not even in Nigeria, so they can provide advice or nutritional advice for the clients depending on their condition. So they join the network, they and sign up. We get them verified, credential verification, police check and all that before they are visible on the platform. And they can also expand their own practice. They work with on their own terms. So it's extra income for healthcare providers. So just to explain that more, virtual consultation, like if you request for that, once we have service providers available, will be just in a minute. It's hybrid, like I said, it gives you peace of mind and continuous support. And for the healthcare provider, of course, you earn extra income. You can manage your own wallet. You can see how much you're earning from AgeWell CareLink, and you can put it there as another way to save and take it up maybe at the end of the year. It's like a piggy bank or something like that for you as well. So you can actually see how much you're making from AgeWell. So we use geostatistic. That means you can search for healthcare providers within your location. For instance, I need a nurse, so it's going to bring up all the nurses that are already onboarded on AgeWell CareLink. Then you can see nurses near me, so to say, or doctors near me for those in person, or it could be virtual. Then 24 hours chat response as well in case of any need or any questions. And like I said, it's an integrated care team approach. We have case managers, we have therapies on board. Upcoming that we're already working on training and workforce development. At the moment, we are recruiting. We've put up an application for a basic caregiver training. So if you know anyone who wants to be a caregiver, we're trying to make sure that care is professionalized, like it's really professional and it's not just because they are available. Even for families, if you are a family carer, you can take up this training. We're going to share please, can you share the flyer if possible? I don't know if you can share the flyer, but maybe I will see if I can screen it. So for introduction to caregiving course, which is going to start next month. So November rather. So the whole of October is for admission. It's ongoing. And anyone could take it. If you are the carer of your parents, so to say, you might take it just to have basic professional information on how to care. And the other training that we have upcoming is the digital skills for caregivers. So nowadays, we use digital tools, for instance, using AgeWell CareLink or any other digital tools to manage care. So we're going to be, training people on how to use digital tools, complying with data protection and all of that as well. So the same starting November. And we have an AgeWell community. At the moment, we have it on WhatsApp that is open to anyone, everyone at the same time, older persons. It's like a community where you could ask questions, and we will be sharing some nuggets as well as some tips on how to age well. So on the app as well, you're going to be seeing educational resources for older people, simplified. And you know what? We are working on translation. So you have information available in English, in Yoruba, and in Pidgin. So making it very accessible and inclusive. So I've talked about it as integrated care hub. Our future plan is to have physical care hubs actually in different locations. We are also incorporating what we call Jerry Shaw Insurance Scheme. So the older persons can bring, get an insurance that would be tailored to their care needs, bringing the cost, making it more available. We want to pilot, we are piloting in Nigeria, but we are expanding it across Africa and of course globally as well. So that's our information. Our website is currently being finalized officially, but be on the lookout. If you have not joined our community, please join. And that's our address. That's a phone number, very active, and that's the email address. I'll just quickly say this about the forthcoming launch. So officially, drum rolls, drum rolls, drum rolls, drum rolls. So officially, we'll be launching in Nigeria. So we'll be launching in Nigeria. So Age Well Care Link is coming to Nigeria November. So November 20, we're going to be having our official launch and our inaugural conference. And I'm trying to let me get the flyer. Yeah. So our official launch and inaugural conference is coming up November 20, 2025. And the theme is Caring Forward, Building Integrated Care System for the Older Generation in Nigeria and beyond. Why Caring Forward? There's a lot to say about that. It just simply means that whatever care system we set up today is what we are going to age into. So we need to start thinking of it in a futuristic, term that how I care for my parents or my older ones today might be how I'll be looked after as well. So what tools, what system, what policy, what practices do we want to put in place now that will translate into the future? So that's what Caring Forward is all about. And we believe that we can do this effectively by building an integrated system, care system, which is what Age Well is going to do, is doing already. So if you are in Nigeria and you'll be happy to attend, the registration link is there, or even just share this. We're going to share the link to everyone to attend. Share it with people that you know might be available to attend. Help us spread this word out there. We know that, like Elizabeth had mentioned, actually, a lot of people are just not really embracing that care of the other person and how to look after other people. But we want this to change. We're trying to change the narrative. So please help us push the word out there that care is coming home, right? We're bringing care home, actual care, evidence-based, integrated care, quality care for our older people. Gone are the days that, we want the statistics to change. We want the research findings to change, because now what is out there is that older people, especially in Africa, are the most neglected. And we want that to change. We want that to change. We want everybody to be able to embrace aging and age well as living well in that process. So please, if you have any question, please, you can ask about this. We are calling for partners. Either you are in Nigeria or not, you can partner, right? You can partner, you can help us promote. And one juicy thing about the conference is that we are giving opportunity for the other people that attend that launch. They will have a chance to get what we call the Smart Care Package. So inside the Smart Care Package, we will have a smart tablet or an Android phone, and then they will have a digital BP monitor, and they will have some other comfort materials as well. So it's very important because we want, it's digital age. So smart care, smart seniors. We'll talk about mobility and all of that. So let's get them smart. Let's get them cared for as we embrace our launch and conference. Please, again, spread the word. And if you want to partner, you can email us. If you want to sponsor, even a care package, you can sponsor a care package. I think, Kemi, a care package, everything costs 200,000. So you can sponsor one care package, you can sponsor 2, you can sponsor 10. That's welcome. And your sponsorship knows no barrier. Like distance is not a barrier. So we really appreciate that you help us get this word out there. And I don't want to forget to say this, that I think this should be embraced, because we have always been talking about brain drain, and this is just a reverse brain drain. Like, this is a brain gain back to Nigeria, back to Africa. And I'm really blessed, and I want to use the opportunity to thank all my team. It's been months It's been months of working back and forth on this project, and we believe that we are getting out there now to the glory of God. So let me give a shout out to Kemi, to Jennifer, who is a case manager, but she's there listening, but she couldn't come on video. To Gerard, our business sales manager, to Temi, our founding product manager, who is doing marriage ceremony now, to Love Agbadu, to everyone who have worked with us, who have partnered with us, of course, to Peter Petron, our developer, and everyone who is working with us, especially the launch team, the volunteers. Thank you so much. And thank you too for joining us today at this webinar. So our webinars, maybe I should pass it. I just want to keep talking. Our webinars is monthly. So be on the lookout for the next announcement. I think we don't know what the topic could be, but we will definitely have one webinar in October. We might not have a webinar in November because of the launch, so to say, but we will definitely have webinar in October. So be on the lookout. Thank you very much for joining and for staying this late.
Much awesome, lovely session. Thank you.
Thank you. Please complete. I think there's a feedback form. Did we get the feedback form? Please, we appreciate if you can help us complete that. Just to let us know how we are doing, what information, what is the takeaway. And if you want to share your experience of attending this webinar as well, please share it. What did you learn? Share it on your timeline. Share it with your network. We want people to, we don't want to keep it here. We want to bring the information out. Maybe you learned that don't just give supplement to the other person. Get them checked first before you go and tell, let's spread the news, because people just rely on so many information from social media now. So we could as well pass on the right information. So thank you so much again for joining.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, our guest speaker. We are really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you
very much. Thank you for
Thank
putting
you.
the
Good
program
night.
together.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good
Bye.
night, everyone.
So much.
Good night.
Bye.
Kemi, thanks. Jennifer, thanks.
Thank you, ma.
Good night.
Good night, ma.